Good morning. It's a beautiful sunny day after a few days of rain, so that's exciting. Even though I think we needed the rain, didn't we?
That's true. To get up to 29s and 30s in May, that's a little much. Just ease up on the gas.
I didn't say anything on Sunday, but Saturday night there was a lightning bolt, and my house is directly across from the church. And then I think on the other side of Boucherie is Green Bay, so it's kind of like a line. And so my son was at Green Bay at May Camp, and I saw this lightning bolt come down, and it could have hit the church or Boucherie or Green Bay. And I thought, that's amazing. And I heard the thunder about...
Didn't we tell you? Craziest way to make popcorn. Absolutely.
Have Jack stand in the middle of the
we had a kid out on the dock, like
a piece of corn.
On a long metal pole.
You guys are so distracting. Although that's interesting. About a minute later, I get a call from the security monitoring at the church. Yeah. The alarm's going off, so I'm like, okay, I'll come down and check it out. On the way down, I get a call, and I had my ear thing in, so it was lucky I could answer it. And the fire alarm was going off, and they said the fire people are coming, and I'm like, oh my goodness, was it the church that got hit? So I got here, everything was fine. We turned off the alarms. The firemen went through. And it ended up that they said it probably was just the vibrations, you know. We didn't find any popcorn, but, it was it was really interesting.
Marks.
Yeah,
right. So we haven't been on the roof yet, though, have we?
Exciting things, but anyways, we have some things to tell you that's coming up, but we wanted to look back, and this last week's passage was probably one of the most emotional passages in the Bible, actually, where Jesus is coming to terms with what he's got to do. And so it's good for us to reflect on what did that feel like. And so I just kind of thought, do you guys have, I gave an example of something that I agonized with, and I'll maybe explain a little bit more of that. But any thoughts come to mind of time you felt that way?
I don't know if it can be compared to, should I or shouldn't I walk to the cross and take on the sins of humanity.
Okay, let's be clear. We're not comparing. We're just trying to enter into the feeling. Yeah. Okay. So,
but that idea is there of like, Jesus knew that he had to go. Mm-hmm. And it was for this purpose that he was born in. It was the will of God and all of these things. And so he was being led, and yet there was that moment of like, right. And I feel like as humans we can fully empathize with that from Jesus' human side and the fact that, like, everything. Mm-hmm. So what I think about right away is I think there's some decisions that I kind of had to agonize over, even though I knew they were kind of the right things. When I was in my mid-teens, I got this feeling, this call to ministry, and I didn't know what that meant, but I thought that was going to be like a whole other picture. But as kind of time went on and I graduated high school, and people just kept kind of suggesting, why not go to Bible school? Go to Bible school. Why not go to Bible school? And I just ran from that idea because only people who go to Bible school, A, get married right away, and B, become a pastor. And I didn't want either of those things at that moment in my life.
Not all of us have to get married in Bible school.
Well, no, because that's just the perception. That's the perception that I had. Because everybody that I knew from our church or from our community who went to Bible school, boom, they met somebody and they're married, and all of a sudden they're missionaries whoever, or pastors, or pastors' wives, or whatever. So I met this girl, and we started dating, 4 months in, and it kind of backfired, but still that decision. So I actually remember, do you remember the band Down Here and Switchfoot? They were actually at this really small kind of weekend concert gathering just outside of Edmonton, and this was kind of like just after New Way to Be Human, and like that they hadn't come out with their second album yet, so like they were still working on their stuff, and like Day's Wage and all kinds of stuff. And there was this band Down Here from this place called Briarcrest, and they were just handing out flyers and talking to people, and then they went up on stage and they did their thing, and they were really good, and they came off, and yeah, I went to talk to them about their music, and then they were trying to hand me this catalog for Briarcrest Bible College, and and I just remember about 3 months later when God actually kind of like got my attention.
Yep.
And he said, you kind of have been running from this. This is actually the right decision. This is the way I want you to go. You kind of just been running away. And even like it was in the middle of a Jonah sermon where God actually said, you're running that way and I need you to go this way. So it was a little bit agonizing to get to that point, but I knew it was the right thing to do.
Your Garden of Gethsemane moment, if we said we weren't going to compare, so it's not comparing, but it was just a longer process. You were agonizing for quite a while.
Yeah.
What about you? Does something come to mind?
Well, two things. One, in the moment, it finally occurred to me why the Bible college I went to in Langley was so different from Briarcrest. And it's that in Saskatchewan, there's nothing else to do but find a wife. And in Langley, we're like, we got all these options. If you're thinking of sending your kids to a Bible school, go big city if you don't want them married right away, I think is the answer.
If you don't want them married right away.
Anyways, no, and on a serious note, I think I am more of the personality that doesn't fully think through the consequences of any of my decisions, and so I just commit and then figure it out. And so I can't say there's been a lot of agonizing decisions in my life. Even like calling into ministry, it was like, well, that would be cool. I could do that. That sounds kind of fun. I enjoy that. But I could also do this, and I'm like, let's just do that. You know, you have maybe that one little. It was the smallest of nudges from someone who probably doesn't even know they nudged, and then it was like, okay, I'm in. I guess I'm going to figure it out, and we're going to go for it. And you know, that whole, then I just get too stubborn to back out. So it's like, is there agony? No, not really. Does that sound super romantic about, like, no, not really. And that's okay, right? It's more though, what's your next step? So that's, the idea of agonizing, I think there's a whole, like, I just, that's been it. What the agony comes when it's like, okay, now how are we actually going to make this work? Like, if this is what I'm in for, okay, I said yes, all right, now what? And I feel like I'm in good company in that, because that's how I see the Apostle Peter going about his whole shtick, right? He's the one who just like jumps in and is like, now what? Okay, Jesus, we're with you. We're ready to die. Oh, wait, shoot, I just committed to something. I guess I'll have to figure that out now. Right? And so I've often said that I resonate well with him, and I think that's you know, there's a whole lot of us who fit that camp.
I did share about what I was feeling, and I have to clarify, there was nothing about Cheryl that I was anguishing about. It was more the realization that this is a lifetime thing, and I wanted to be really, really sure that I would be committed to her and had thought it through. So I realized that as I left, that this poor Cheryl, you know, sounds like I was agonizing whether I married this woman, and I was so in love with her. I just there was a lot of, you know, family stuff and everything. I just wanted to make sure. So, but I mean, the bigger picture, like I think that helps us enter in and understand a little bit more the anguish Jesus had when we kind of feel what we felt. But I mean, his was so much more, infinitely more. And then we talked about prayer, and there was, 4 ideas about prayer, and one of those was we don't pray to change God's mind, and some people will say, well, God did change his mind in the Bible, right? And the point isn't that he never will change his mind, and we got to understand what that means, but we don't pray to try to change God and how he's going to act. We pray to come into alignment with him, right? And I think that it was just amazing how Jesus did that. I don't know. You can watch the sermon and read the passage, but it's just good to think through some of those things. Discuss that with your small groups and with your friends and whatever.
And even to be reminded that like there's that unbelievable sense of communion and intimacy that does happen in prayer. Even for when you said, you know, like laying on his face and just saying, Daddy. Like to kind of open that sense of vulnerability. That's kind of what prayer is. To be able to say, God, here I am. let's look at this, and let's look at you, and let's look at all of these things in this very communal moment and a sense of vulnerability. And I think that's what's beautiful about that passage. And
As I've reflected on that this week and been praying, I've just been in so much more awe of God and wonder and just loving Him, because I've always felt like God is mad at me for my sin, and I know that's not true, but there's this feeling that and that was poured out on Jesus. Jesus took all that. Just even reflecting on that has made me just so much more delighted in God the Father, and in Jesus, and so lots to think about. But we want to tell you some things coming up. Right away this Saturday is the celebration of life for Wayne Pyatt, and that's at 2 o'clock at the church. So just come and we'll have a service, and then a tea afterwards in the fellowship room. And then the next week is International Dinner. What is it called? It's
International Food Night.
That's right. And so that the last day to sign up is Sunday. Do you want to tell us a little bit about picnics in the park?
Yeah. So just like we did last year, we really enjoyed, like Jeff said, on Sunday the gathering, and sometimes just the fact that we live in this amazing place. I think we should kind of utilize that a little bit more. And so we've planned to every Sunday in June to meet down at the Nut Farm, and to kind of gather in one area, and whatever happens that afternoon, and bring lawn chairs, bring sports equipment, bring your own lunch to kind of take care of you and your family and whoever's with you, and the idea just kind of being, let's just be together and enjoy the sun. It will kind of be rain or shine, so the plan is to kind of just at least have somebody down there no matter what, and then you can come to the Sundays that you're able, and don't come to the Sundays that you're not, and we'll still kind of meet through Father's Day and stuff like that as well too, and just a real connection point. It gives an opportunity for discussion, for fun, for food, for we've played a lot of 9 square, soccer, baseball, all these things that kind of just help us kind of do life together, just have fun. Like it's just like hanging out with your cousins.
Yep, that's great. And the last thing we want to have you be praying for, and we'll talk more about this on Sunday, is sabbatical. You're heading away next Tuesday. So Monday will be your last youth night, and and then you got lots of plans. Tell us a little bit more on Sunday, but do you want to sneak preview anything for us now, or?
Well, what to sneak preview. So last night we were working, it's so interesting because we put an idea out there in the fall. I think I went back to it. The document I created was October. And then it was really just night before last. So Monday night, we kind of sat down for the first time with a map. Actually, did you know BCA still gives out like maps,
No,
paper maps? 100% membership is wonderful.
Wow.
Has its rewards, and it comes in the form of paper maps. It's huge. So we spread it out across the coffee table, and we looked at the little rough idea we had, and our whole plan is to get all the way across Canada.
Wow.
And so right now the schedule has us on Canada Day.
Oh.
Of all things, driving across the bridge from New Brunswick to PEI, which seems like a pretty cool thing to do on Canada Day, right?
Cool.
Just kind of trying to take in all that Canadiana.
Wow.
At one point, we were like, "Oh, do we be in Ottawa?" And we're like, "Oh, we don't want to stick around that long." It's interesting because it's going to take us 5 days just to drive across Ontario.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Ontario,
I thought you were gonna say
just
Canada.
Ontario. No,
No
way.
Ontario is huge.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's so
it is,
big,
it is.
and it's so
Wow.
slow. And we're we finally, as we're planning out last night, it was so funny. It's just I can't wait to get out of Ontario, and it's we're not even there yet. It's just mentally, we're we're going to be here, we're going to be here, and we're going to be here. And we're still driving 500 something kilometers a day just to get through that.
Yeah.
Oh, anyways,
Fun,
so it'll be fine. It'll be good.
Yeah.
So we wanted to this is such a blessing, like such a huge opportunity that we definitely want to make the most of it. And one of the ways we want to grow through it, I don't know, I don't want to. You might hear this twice if you come Sunday. One of the ways we want to grow through is just to kind of expand our horizons a little bit about what is this country that God has planted us in, right? We get, the valley, we get BC, but what really is it like to, be part of this country, but also to experience it through our kids, and really hopefully, as we're going to be in a pretty compact space for
a long time,
like 5 weeks, and what is that? How is that going to mean for our family bond too? That we would grow. The prayer request is that we, really grow tighter, closer, warmer, and not get out at the end of it and go, we're never doing that again. If the Miller family is selling to buy a bigger house after this trip, you kind of know how it went. But no, that's not going to be the case. We know it's going to be a trip of all ups and downs and good stuff and all of that. And it's just, it's going to be sort of life in a pressure cooker. And I think that'll be challenging, but really fun. So
great. Well, we'll be praying for you. We're excited for you. Excited for some of the things that are coming up. So we hope that you are having a good day, and we'll look forward to seeing you hopefully this weekend.